Today I shall be dealing with chapter number 5, All Summer in a Day, of your English textbook Bliss. I will give you a detailed explanation of the chapter, but before that, I shall give you a brief note on the author, Ray Douglas Bradbury. He was born in 1920. He was an American author and screenwriter. He worked in various genres including fantasy, science fiction, horror, and mystery fiction. His notable works are Fahrenheit 451, The Martian Chronicles, Dandelion Wine, etc. Before going into the text in detail, I would like to discuss about the title of the story, All Summer in a Day. See, this title is something unusual but very much appropriate. What do you think, girls? Can this really happen? Can this be an earthly feature to have summer only in one single day? Yes, it's true that this is not natural in our planet. According to the imaginative spirit of the author, this happens on Venus, the second planet from Sun in our very own solar system. So let us begin the chapter. But before that, I would suggest you girls to sit with your textbook so that you can understand every bit of this chapter very nicely. Let us begin. It had been raining for 7 years. See, this is an unnatural phenomenon on this planet Earth. But this is very natural on the planet we are talking about, and that is Venus. Thousands upon thousands of days filled from one end to the other with rain. So, for 7 years, it was an unstoppable rain, an unending rain, an incessant rain. The days were filled with a gush of water and endless showers. It was unstoppable. It was a very natural phenomenon on this planet Venus. And it was not only rain, but it was accompanied by several other activities. Let us see what are those. Heavy storms caused tidal waves to come over the islands. So, rain is characterized by heavy storms and tidal waves. 1,000 forests crushed under the rain had grown up 1,000 times to be crushed again. See, girls, we find this phenomenon on our planet also. Whenever there is rain for 2 or 3 days, we find that, and it seems that trees grow very fast. And the forests seem to be greener than before. So, such is the condition whenever there is rain for 2 or 3 days. So you can well imagine or understand the situation or the condition where the rain is there for 7 years. So, and it is not very easy to understand for us how will the forests look like if the rain is so much and it is unending. This way the way of life forever on planet Venus. So such was the weather conditions or the climatic conditions on this planet Venus. Here was located the schoolroom of the children belonging to men and women who came by rockets from Earth. As we know that it is only the rocket through which we can go or migrate from our planet to some other planet. And the children who are in their respective classrooms in their own school, they have come over from Earth via rockets with their parents. And they have set up a civilization in this reigning world. As we have our own civilizations on this planet Earth, they have their own on that planet Venus. Ready? Ready. Now? Soon. Will it happen today? Will it? Look, see for yourself. So see, abruptly, all on a sudden, all these children started asking certain questions to each other. The questions which are very obvious for them. They are very much ready to witness something very extraordinary, to witness something that is very unusual to them, and something that they have never witnessed before. So they are very anxious. They are waiting for something to happen very eagerly. Will it happen today? Let us find out what will happen that day. The children in the schoolroom chattered and pressed to each other like so many roses. See, as we know that nature's two most beautiful and innocent things are children and flowers. So once again, the author compares the children with roses, one of the most beautiful flowers in nature. They are talking to each other very quickly, in a haste, and they are going on continuously talking amongst each other. They peered out of the window to look at the hidden sun. So now this term is very significant in this chapter. Hidden sun. Why the sun is hidden? Can the sun be hidden? See, this is not very natural to us. To us means the people residing on this planet Earth. Because every day we see the rising sun and we see the sun setting in the evening. So this phenomenon is very natural and something very ordinary to us. But the sun, the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun, these two phenomena are not very ordinary to the people or the children residing on that planet Venus. And the sun is called or termed as hidden. Hidden for 7 years. It's simply not a matter of joke. The sun is hidden. And they have not seen something like what is called the sun before. Because it rained and rained and rained for 7 years incessantly. It's stopping. It's stopping. What is stopping? Let us find out. The children were 9 years old when the sun came out last time, 7 years ago. And they were too young. They could not recall the sun when it came out for just an hour and showed its face to the stunned world. So we can find it that the children are now only 9 years old. And so they are not aware how the sun looked like. The concept of the sun is not very clear to all these children. Because when they last witnessed the sun, they were only 2 years old. And naturally, a child of 2 years cannot remember everything he or she has witnessed. All day yesterday they had read in class about the sun. And so these children are very much anxious and eager and very much excited to see what the sun looked like. How did the sun look like? What is the sun? What kind of material is there in the sun? What is its color? Is it very big or small? So all such questions came into their minds because they were not very clear about the concept of the sun. And they, sitting in their classrooms, were discussing continuously about sun. They learned how like a lemon it was and how hot. They had learned, maybe in their studies, that the sun looked like a lemon. and it was very hot. They had written small stories, essays, or poems about it. Do we do these, girls? Generally, we do not write or discuss many things about sun, because sun is a very common thing to all of us. But that is not very common or ordinary or very simple an aspect to all the children on the planet Venus. So they are imagining all sorts of things about the sun. Someone among them is saying, I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just an hour. So, see, the childish imagination we see in these two lines. The sun is compared to a flower because they know that flowers bloom for a certain period of time. And so does the sun. The sun on the planet Venus is about to rise and go off just within 1 hour. So it is very apt for that child to compare the sun with a flower that blooms for just an hour. That was yesterday. Today, at this moment, the run was slackening. The children gathered at the great, thick windows. And gradually, the rain was slowing down. Where's our teacher? She'll be back. She must hurry or she will miss it. Now, the children are not only concerned about themselves, as they will witness a great event in their lives, they are also concerned about their teacher, because she was missing at that moment and they were bothering whether she will miss that event or not. She must hurry or she will miss it. Then the rain slackened still more. The rain slowed down gradually and gradually. The children were eager to see the sun. They had been on Venus all their lives. All their lives. It's very significant because they are only 9 years old. And this period of time, this 9 years of the duration, they have not seen the sun. And whenever they had seen it, they were only 2 years old and they do not remember much about the sun. They had been only 2 years old when the sun last came out. They had long since forgotten the color and the heat of how it really was. It's very normal, it's very natural that a child of 2 years cannot remember what he had been witnessing 7 years ago. And they have completely forgotten about the sun. That is why they were very much anxious and eager to see the sun. What kind of material was it? How hot was it? What was the color of the sun? They played in the echoing tunnels of the underground city and sang of summer and the sun. They were just passing their days, passing their time with an anxiousness, with an eagerness, with an excitement to look what the sun was like. And finally, the incident happened. The rain stopped. And that there was something very special to happen. It was as if a hurricane had lost its sound. Hurricane? It's a violent storm. And whenever there is a storm, we hear a lot of sound. That is a terrible sound. All of a sudden, when the rain stopped, all the noises around them stopped. There was no motions or tremor, but peace. All over, all around them, it was a complete silence. It was peace all over. The world grounded to a standstill. It seemed to them that everything stopped altogether. The silence was so immense, one would feel as if the years had been stuffed. It seemed to the children that something were inside the ears to block the noise, to stop the noise that they had been hearing for so many years continuously. The children put their hands to their ears. The silence was deafening. Isn't it very unnatural, girls? For us, sound or the noise that are around us, we are deafened by that noise, by those noises. But to these children, the silence was deafening. Isn't it very contradictory? They stood apart. The doors slid back. Everybody was just ready to witness one of the most important, rather, the most important event to happen in just a few seconds. The smell of the silent waiting world came to them. It was very silent, and something very, very special was to happen. Waiting world. The world on Venus, all the children, everyone on Venus was waiting for that special moment to come to them. And then it happened. The sun came out. The sun came out. It was a color of flaming bronze and it was very large. The sky around it was blazing blue. The jungle burned with sunlight. The children, released from their spell, rushed out, yelling into the summertime. See? What beautiful picturization by the author. The sun was blazing like fire. It was bronze in color. It was very large. The sky was bluish in color and it was very bright. The jungle was also shining with sunlight. Everything immediately, all at once, changed. And the children were simply overjoyed. They ran and ran. They started shouting in joy because it was their summer time. See, this is a very significant term, summer time. Though summer on Venus was just for an hour. Now, don't you go too far. The teacher called after them, you have only an hour, you know. So, it sounds the note of melancholy here. You have only 1 hour. The people who are suffering, you know, it is really a suffering because there had been rain for 7 years and the sun is up on the sky for only 1 hour. It was really depressing. It was really very sad for the children of the Venus. The children were running and turning up their faces to the sky to feel the warm sun on their cheeks. They took off their jackets and let the sun warm their arms. Oh, it's better than lamp lights, isn't it? Much, much better. They were so overjoyed. They were overwhelmed with the coming of the sun on the sky and its bright color, its heat. Everything was very much new to them. Everything was being enjoyed by all these children. They stopped running and stood in the great jungle that covered Venus. The jungle grew and never stopped growing. The jungle had spent years without the sun. It was the color of the rubber, ash, and ink. As for us, the forest and the jungle have many colors. They are green, but the jungle on the Venus is said to be grey in color. It is very unnatural. The children lay out laughing on the jungle mattress. They ran among the trees, they slipped and fell, they pushed each other and played hide and seek. Most of all, they squinted at the sun until tears ran down their faces. They breathed a fresh air and listened to the silence which held them in a blessed sea of no sound. They looked at everything and severed everything. Then wildly, like animals escaped from their caves, they ran and ran, shouting in circles. They ran for an hour and did not stop running. So these were all the activities that made them, that make us feel that they were very much happy and they were enjoying every little moment. And then in the midst of their running, one of the girls wailed. One of the girls just cried. Why? Everyone stopped. The girl standing in the open held out her hand. Oh, look, look, she said, trembling in fear, in worry, in distress. The children gathered slowly to look at her opened palm. In the center of it was a single large raindrop. Once again, the advent of rain, the incessant rain. The girl began to cry, looking at it. The children glanced quickly at the sky. Everyone was, lost in that very moment because the sun had vanished behind the clouds. A few cold drops on their noses and their cheeks and their mouths. The sun had faded behind a cloud of mist. A cool wind blew around them. They turned and slowly walked towards their underground houses. Their smiles had vanished. With the sun, the children also lost their smile, their laughter, their enjoyment, and their happiness. A boom of thunder startled them. They tumbled upon each other and ran. Oh, oh! Lightning struck all around them. The sky darkened into midnight in a flash. The children stood at the doorway to the underground houses until it was raining hard. Then they closed the doors and heard the gigantic sound of the rain falling everywhere. Will it be 7 more years before the sun comes out again? Yes. With pale faces, they looked out of the window at the world that was raining now, raining and raining steadily. So, this is all about your chapter, girls. So, we see a complete different atmosphere or climatic condition on the planet Venus, though it is completely an imaginative tale by Ray Douglas Bradbury. Thank you, and that's all.